Alright, welcome to the follow along of the basic workout 3. Please make sure you watched all the instructional videos of the exercises where I explain everything more thoroughly than what I do here, because here we directly go in and it might be too quick for you if you haven't watched the instructions and took a few minutes with each exercise to figure it out. Okay, let's start. We're starting with the head. 1 minute of this figure 8. There are many different figure 8s that you can do. Here's one. There's this rotation, tilting, gliding, all happening in the same movement. It's nice. There's lots of stuff happening here simultaneously. And I'm trying my best to move in the neck and not in the chest. And we're going into a glide of the chest back and forth. Back and forth glide of the chest. So my chest is moving in space, but my shoulders are not much moving in space. They're more like counterbalancing the movement of the chest. Same with my pelvis. It's counterbalancing, but besides that, I don't really want to move it in space. And side to side, gliding side to side. Both shoulders stay on one horizontal line. I'm not tilting, gliding side to side, and I'm also not rotating. Just side to side gliding. Head comes with the chest. You see my pelvis is also staying at the same spot. And now we're going into a chest circle. Just need to program the timer. First one direction, and when I tell you, we are going into the other direction. So it's side, front, side, back. Again, it's about the chest moving in space. Everything else is just counterbalancing the pelvis. Just counterbalancing. Head comes with the chest. and change direction. Do everything in your speed, the speed that is working for you. You don't have to copy my speed. Now we are going to a wall, so I will use this pole here, and we are going to do the frontal wave on the wall version 3. This is the version where you start just with one spot. Now we start with the pelvis, and we're going for 4 minutes, rolling up vertebra by vertebra until you are at the top. Then you leave the wall for a moment and you go back down and you start again with the pelvis. I'm doing it here with the wild nature in front of my eyes. Again, do your speed that is good for you, where you feel you can do it well. Go vertebra by vertebra, rolling up until you are at the head, and then back to the pelvis. Stay focused on the exercise. And now you change direction. You're starting with the head and you're moving downwards, tuk, 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 until you're at the pelvis, and then you leave the wall and you roll back down until you again arrive at the pelvis. Leave the wall for a moment and roll down. Okay, and now we are going into the rotational wave, also 4 minutes per direction. And we just have been at the head, So we continue with the head. It's head, chest, further down into the pelvis. Head, chest, further down into the pelvis. It's just a rotation. There's no flexion and extension in the spine. Notice I don't buckle in with my knees. My knees stay in a nice alignment. So you have to be soft in the hips to make that happen. And make sure that one part is not overtaking the other. The head is starting and it's always the leader of the movement now. It's not suddenly that the chest arrives quicker than the head. Do it in your tempo that works for you. And change direction. Now is the pelvis and moving first, and from the pelvis it goes up through the spine, chest, neck. The head is the last thing to move. Always the last one to arrive. Pelvis always the first one to arrive now. Okay, the next one is we're going to the hands. We are first going onto the palms and stretching them, going into different positions with the hands on the floor. Just going from one side to the other side, always putting some weight in. You decide how much weight you put in. Just going into all this sort of different angles. And now we're changing to the back of the hands. And we're doing the same thing, going from one side to the other side. If you can, with the elbows straight. Stretching the upper part of the hands and forearms to different angles, going from side to side. We go again to the back of the hand, but now we are rotating there. In the instruction video I showed 3 different variations, and we can do all these different variations in a matter of the 30 seconds that we do per side. So for example, going with the elbow straight, circling around, we are doing both directions. And just rotating in and out on the spot with a bit of a stretch, or circling with the elbow bending. And now I'm going to the other side, and I'm also playing around with the variations. And the next one is making space in the wrist. I'm pulling on the wrist, the elbow pulls into the other direction, making some space here. Makes especially sense if you do a lot of supporting on the hands, like push-ups, for example. Nicely making space here in the wrist, really pull. Other side. We're back standing, and we're going for the hips and the pelvis. And the first thing is circling the pelvis in this space. So it's less circling in itself, it's more like circling in space, and you feel it especially in the hips. Here in the transverse plane, We are doing a version where the head is staying on one spot, and try to look for the range of motion of the pelvis in space. Again, do it in your speed, in a speed that feels good. The knees are straight, but slight bending is also okay. That's not such an important detail now. If you're slightly bent or straight, you can play with it. It will be a tiny change in how it works. I will tell you when we change direction. Change direction. And now we're going to a figure 8 in the frontal plane. So you see I'm moving sideways and I have this tilting in the pelvis. Now I tilt the other way, and it's very important to bend the knees also with it, to have this knee straightening, knee bending motion that helps me to move the pelvis from one tilt to the other tilt. And you try to really softening the hips there. And we're going for the other direction. Yeah, so before, when I was up here, I went over there, up, I went over there, and now I go over when I'm down. You see, now I'm down there and I'm going to the right. Now the left one is down, I'm going to the left. That's the other direction. always using the knees to help you, tilting the pelvis. Making sure I don't rotate the pelvis, I keep it in this plane. And I'm also not moving back and forth. All right, now we're going on one leg. So you can use something to hold yourself onto. It's always 1 minute sets. Yeah, and the first one is I'm standing on my right and I'm rotating on my left. And it's just here in this hip that I'm moving. So the pelvis is not moving in space. Yeah, this stays here the same. You can be with the knee straight or knee bent, that's up to you. Just try to figure out how can I move here in the hip without moving in the other hip. Yeah, so this isolated style. Change to the other side. We're going from inside to outside, so you remember. It's just a bit easier to change back and forth after a minute. So you're not too fatigued in your foot. But of course you could also do like 2 minutes one foot, 2 minutes the other foot. Still not moving in this hip as good as I can. I make sure the movement is happening here in this hip. First side again. Now from outside we are going in. Change the side. First side again, inside to outside, and now the standing hip is also moving with. So it's nicely combined, making the movement much bigger in space. Do big circles, also a good challenge for the balance. Or you hold on to something, which is also okay. Yeah, you will just take the balance aspect a bit more out for now, but you could later put it back in. First side, from outside to inside. Make sure the knee stays in a good alignment with the toes. Other side. And first side again. Now we are freestyling. So the movement that you do is free, with the focus on the hip. Pelvis is moving around. Soft hip. If you're balancing, you challenge your balance as well as fighting for your balance. Other side. Okay, we're going to the feet. I'm rotating one foot, one direction and then the other direction. And I'm rotating open kinetic chain. So it's not on the ground, it's freely there. This foot stuff makes sense to do it barefoot. I have now shoes here, but it's very minimal shoes, still allows me to move very well. But if you have thick shoes, you should take them off, and maybe if you are on a hard surface, get a yoga mat, go on some grass. You can do this exercise also sitting or lying, change direction, whatever feels best for you. Other side. Change direction. First side again. Now it's a closed kinetic chain. You see my toes are on the ground. You could also do this at a step. Then you can go lower with the foot, with the heel. I'm trying to go through a big range of motion. change direction, change foot, change direction, Now we are going onto the outside edges of the feet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Now to the inside edges. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. All right, for the calf raises, it's good if you have a step. If you don't have a step, just do it without, but it's really much better if you have a step. Yeah, you can use a staircase, a stair, a chair, or some old books, old encyclopedia. And we're going down, 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3, and up. 1, 2, 3. Down. 1, 2, 3, and up. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, down, up. 1, 2, 3. Down. 1, 2, 3. Up. 1, 2, 3. Down. 1, 2, 3. Up. 1, 2, 3, down, 1, 2, 3, up, 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 1, 2, 3. All right. Okay, we're swinging the arms. We're starting with the rotational arm swing. You should already know from the basic workout 2. And remember also the stance from basic workout 2. Yeah, the knees relaxed, unlocked, hips in this position that like sitting on a high chair. The spine on top of the hips, on top of the ankles. Nice position. And from there rotating, arms very loose, very loose. It's a bit like the rotational wave with the arms added, although it's a bit more moving together. Like the timing is a bit different than in the rotational wave. Make sure the knees are not buckling in, but staying in alignment with the toes. You need to have the soft hips. So before we soften the hips, and this should now help you to do this nicely as well. Always imagine with these arm swings, you would do them for much longer. And this should be your approach, being able to do this for a long time. Okay, and the next one is swinging back and forth. Both hands are going together, both arms are going together, forward and backwards. It's a bit like a jump. You see, when I'm moving back with the arms, I'm rocking onto the heels, and then my arms recoil back forward. And it's all again very, very relaxed. I imagine I need to do this for a long time, not just 2 minutes, but 20 or 2 hours. And I approach it in this way. It's about softening, about understanding how to move, not from force, but from intelligent movement. I don't lift the arms up, they come up. They come up from the recoil, they come up from the movement of the pelvis and the spine. This is sending up motion. And now one arm is in the front, one is in the back. This is similar to a walking pattern, just very exaggerated. Again relaxed. Now there is again a rotational aspect in the motion. And, oh, no, do I need to sneeze? No. And now we're going from one side to the other side. 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, it's not together, it's one after another. So notice not like this. That's a common mistake. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And still very relaxed in the arms. I don't straighten them out. It's a relaxed style. Relaxed style. Some bounciness in the legs from side to side. Bit of rotation is in there. And now I'm going crossing over. This will be one direction and then the other direction. This will be just 60 seconds per side. I will put the microphone further down so it's not bouncing too much, and then we start. Okay, and go. Change direction. Okay. All right, we are going to sitting and squatting, and we start in a squat. Just for 1 minute being here, go into the position that suits you, that is okay for you. Maybe you need to lift off the heels slightly, or you can put it on something slightly elevated. So yeah, this you have to figure out what works for you. And we just stay here for 1 minute. It's only halfway through. And the next one is kneeling for 30 seconds. I would recommend to do it on a softer floor. It's not too hard, or to wear long pants, and you can put a yoga mat or something like this in the beginning. I do it now here on the hard floor with shorts, and that's okay also for me because I'm doing it already for a while. But when you're starting, I would recommend to, maybe at least wear long pants for it. Okay, now we are going into a seiza, so the feet are long. Now the mermaid. So from the seiza you go down on the side. Little mermaid. To the other side. Next one, the samurai sit. Bit similar to the shin box that we will also do in a moment. And changing to the other side. Alright, and now the moving ones. So we start in the shin box and you'll go up and drop them on the other side. You can use the hands in the beginning if you want. Yeah, or you do it free. So we do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. And now we do the second switch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. Okay, next one I will use actually for this one. It's not a mat, it is a piece of cloth. Okay, so I'm here in in the half open kneeling. And from there I go into the half open seiza. So I elongate the foot. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Kneeling with control and back up. 5 to 10, I will do 10. That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, last thing for the workout is the caterpillar or inchworm or whatever you want to call it. There are different versions. I will do the more difficult version 3, where I keep my legs straight and I'm going forward as much as is possible for me. And I will do 3 times hands moving, and then I will do 3 times legs moving. All right, so I will start, I will count my reps to your pace that you need, and then we'll rest for 90 seconds. All right, so first one. Number 1. Number 2. Number 3. Number 1 with the legs. Number 2. And number 3. Resting for 90 seconds. You can do more reps if you want, if you feel ready, like if you feel strong enough. You could do more reps, like up to double of what we're doing, like 6 per version. And then also you can rest less. So the 3 in each direction and 90 seconds break is like the beginner variation. You can do more reps and rest less. Yeah? And like this create a bit more intensity. And you can also use the time when you rest. For example, you go into the squat and you spend the time in the squat. Okay, And next set. One, two, three, and feet moving. One, two, and three. So resting one more time. I will rest again in the squat. You can also choose a different position. Get ready, and last set. One, two, three, feet moving. One, two, and three. And that's it. That was our workout. Thanks for participating.